Hi, my friends. This is Lada from astrolada.com, and I'm back with your weekly astrology predictions for the week of the 6th till the 12th of November 2017. And this week will be a lot under the influence still of the full moon, because remember, I always tell you, full moon is not just on the day it happens. The full moon is actually happening on the 4th of November, I think on Saturday this week. But you're going to feel it for 2 weeks after that. And if you want to know what you can expect over the next 2 weeks, do go back to my previous week video that I speak about full moon in Taurus and watch it, because I give very specific predictions for each of the signs, whether it's your ascendant, sun, or moon. But this week we have two interesting astrological events also happening. One is that Mercury is going into Sagittarius, and the other is that Venus is going into Scorpio. There are no important big kind of, how do I say, aspects between planets, but we're going to speak about those two important events. And in particular, Mercury going in Sagittarius will be quite, you might not feel it immediately next week, because Mercury will stay in Sagittarius for 2.5 months. You probably, if you know a bit of astrology, you know that Mercury never stays in a sign longer than, say, 15 days, 20 days. But when it goes retrograde in a sign, it means it starts moving forward, and say, here is Sagittarius. And Mercury enters it, and then it comes almost to the end of Sagittarius and comes back again, and then moves back forward again, as seen from the Earth. This is how it looks. So Mercury will be entering Sagittarius next week, sometime towards the beginning, but it will stay in Sagittarius for 2.5 months. So basically the whole November, almost the whole December, and part of January, a big part of January. So I want to give you a peek into the next 2.5 months for each of the signs, what you can expect from that, because this will be, wherever we have a retrograde planet of the personal ones, like Mercury or Venus or Mars, somewhere happening, this becomes a great focus. A great focus of important life decisions, life developments, more responsibilities and duties of some sort, and important kind of key events that get triggered because a retrograde planet wants to make an impact. It doesn't pass, just zoom through the sign, the collective universe, things like, now is time for you to pay this attention to this particular area of your life, to look at it rationally, to examine it, to research it, because Mercury is the planet of our mind, our rational investigation of things and making conclusions, taking the conclusions, and analyzing and finding information and our skills. So we'll be asked to consciously involve a lot of our skills, a lot of our knowledge, a lot of our information in whatever Sagittarius falls in our horoscope. And I'm going to speak for each sign where Sagittarius falls in their horoscope, what area it will trigger. So this weekly horoscope, it's almost like a peek into the next 2.5 months. So I prepare you. So you might start feeling the waves, or you might even have something planned that exactly corresponds with what we're going to talk about, so it can prepare you, and so you know what to expect for the next 2.5 months. But the interesting thing is that when Mercury is in Sagittarius towards the end of November, it will join, we call it conjunction Saturn, because Saturn is also towards the end of tropical Sagittarius currently. But they will join together, and they join together at the end of November, the beginning of December. Huge, very important event, because they don't just join together, and Mercury becomes retrograde there, exactly around where Saturn is. So Mercury stops here, and Saturn is here as well, and starts moving backwards, and it feels like for about 2 weeks it looks in the sky like they're next to each other. Usually Mercury will quickly zoom by forward and within 2-3 days and separate from a planet, but this time it just stays there for a long time to make a bigger impact in the last degrees of Sagittarius, which happen to be why is this such a tremendous event? Because the last degree of tropical Sagittarius, the 27th degree in particular, is the degree of the Galactic Centre. And here I am. The 27th degree where Mercury stops, 27th degree of Sagittarius. The Galactic Centre. What is the Galactic Centre? It's the black hole in the middle of our Milky Way. It's basically the womb. They call it, the ancient Mayans were calling it the womb of the universe, because the black hole, the inner central sun of the whole galactic universe, of our Milky Way, is where the impulses for the whole Milky Way come from. Basically, this is where the central intelligence is, the central divine consciousness. If we have to localize it in the material world, it's everywhere around us, but the impulses are coming from the galactic center. And actually, if you've seen documentaries with David Wilcock, scientific research has proven that when the Earth aligns with the galactic center, which happens every day, around midday or something in certain areas of the world, this is when nothing else impacts the magnetic field of the Earth as when it aligns with the galactic center. And they were wondering why when the Earth aligns with the 27 degree of Sagittarius, something happens, and like a big jump in the magnetic field of the Earth happens for about 30 minutes. And they realized this is exactly where the magnetic field is. Sorry, where the galactic center is. So what happens is that during every day when the Earth aligns with the galactic center for about 30 minutes, scientists have proven that psychic abilities and intuitive abilities in humans increase 3 to 4 times. So people that are psychic already, they have amazing intuitions, they can, tap into amazing information, and it happens around 11 o'clock, 11:30, or at least at this geographical northern, sphere. So if you're having psychic readings with someone, try and do it while the Earth is aligned with the galactic center every day around that time. Because psychics will be much more correct, than they align with the consciousness, with the divine consciousness, so the sight becomes much more clearer. So you see, if this makes every day the galactic center aligning with the Earth such a huge impact, on a personal level, and even for I don't know about you guys, but I wake up around 10 o'clock, even with the baby. Thanks God he sleeps like us. And around 11 o'clock or 11:30, when this alignment happens, I come with the most brilliant ideas. It's kind of like, even though I'm not psychic, those amazing ideas flow into me. And I think in different parts of the world, it's a different time. It has to be calculated, sidereal time or something, when the Earth aligns. But I'm just talking now generally, not specifically for, I'm just trying to show you the impact of this galactic center, how powerful it is. And I definitely have felt it in my life. And now we'll have the Saturn, the planet of karma, and Mercury, the planet that rules our mind, our thinking, connecting and becoming together and triggering this galactic center. How do I say? They will not trigger it. They'll be in front of the galactic center towards the end of November, the beginning of December. So they'll be channeling the energies through the galactic. They'll be like, I don't know, like if we're using some term that is scientific, it's like, gathering the rays of the galactic center that come directly behind them and shooting them towards the Earth. And what can you expect? I'll make a special program about that. I made even a video with famous astrologer, Dr. Bay Ravi, and she actually gets all this information downloaded from, she woke up knowing astrology. She didn't learn it like us. And we did a whole video about that, but just to tell quickly, this whole November and the start of December is like a reset button, because the planet that is outermost, according to traditional astrology, Saturn is the planet of karma, will be passing over the galactic center, and Mercury will be there, triggering it as well. So there will be, and the galactic center in ancient Vedic astrology is called Mula, the root. It's a nakshatra called Mula, the root, because everything starts from there. The ancients knew it's the womb. So it's like the beginning of this. If the zodiac, the fixed constellations had a beginning, that would be the galactic center. And it is the beginning, actually. And in ancient astrology, the constellations started, the lunar nakshatras initially started from Mula, the root. So this is where the primordial energy comes from. This is where the impulses for everything new, for everything divinely created for everything, for all the impulses, for evolution, for upgrade in our systems, in our consciousness, for all the worlds around. They come from the galactic center, and they're then retranslated and channeled into local suns, like they channeled into the local system that the sun is with Sirius, and then Sirius channels it towards our sun, and the sun then retranslates it back to everyone that lives on its surface, in the solar system. So, you know, it's like an interconnected nervous system, but the center of it is the galactic center. So big event, guys, with Mercury going into Sagittarius. And it will be, and Saturn being there, and Mercury, what can we expect? Well, it's like a reset, restart, because this is the beginning. And Saturn rules, what does it rule? Our karma. Saturn rules the burdens we carry with us. Saturn rules the things that from past lifetimes or from this lifetimes that we have, something, the cross we have to bear with us because of certain actions, of certain lessons that we have to learn, and it's always the things we have to do in the hard way. So Saturn is like a heavy burden, let's say. It's very necessary though, and actually I've spoken with amazing psychics that they would say, you know, I knew someone that one of my cousins, it's always like such bad luck. Whatever he does, it fails, and you know, it's like a curse, you know. And even his horoscope is Saturn is in a difficult position in a night chart, in an angle, so it's kind of affecting all his personal planets with difficult aspects. So his whole life is like on hold, and it's such a struggle. And I was like, why does someone have that? And the psychic looked at him, and without me saying anything, they said like, oh my God, psychically they can see, like she said, there's like a construction around him, and it's like a cross that is stuck through his back, and that it's almost like some entity that she would see with the psychic vision. And she said there is and every time something, opportunity comes or something new starts, this thing totally constricts him and does not allow him. It's like carrying a burden, like carrying a cross. So every one of us carries a cross of some sort. So that's the karma, that's Saturn. And Saturn entering that galactic center, passing through it, there'll be a restart. I would call it like an amnesty of some sort of our karma possible. Of course, we're not going to be forgiven everything, but particularly where the galactic center, what area in your life the galactic center triggers, and what area of your life Saturn and Mercury rules. So if, you know, say if you're Virgo ascendant, Mercury will rule your whole life, your physical body. Mercury will also rule your career, vocation, and worldly success, and Saturn will rule your 8th house, so mutual resources, and your 9th house, belief systems. So there'll be a restart and new beginnings, and something ending and new beginnings in regards to those areas of your life. So it's more personal. Maybe a personal reading will help for that, but I'll try to give you an example, you know, how it can affect each one of you, especially where the house it's happening in. For example, it will be happening in my 12th house, exactly on the 12th house cusp. So a restart, amnesty of some past life karma or burden, which is connected to me self-sabotaging myself in some way. This is the 12th house, self-sabotaging or doing something unconsciously, inadvertently that's stopping you. Addictions are ruled by the 12th house as well. Things that hidden enemies are your subconscious thoughts, or real hidden enemies in the outside world. They will be like I would say whatever it's happening in your horoscope, whatever Sagittarius is, the last degrees of Sagittarius is in your horoscope, whatever house cusp it is in, or house from ascendant, there'll be a big restart button for you there, a big amnesty, a big clearing off of karma, so to speak. So you feel it, you know, gradually towards the end of November, the beginning of December. And these two planets, how do they work together though? Saturn is this karma, and Mercury is a friend of Saturn. When Mercury is close to Saturn, it helps Saturn. So Saturn is our karma, our things that block us, that delay us, that create difficulties in our life. And Mercury is understanding. research information. So what's going to happen in November, guys, in the beginning of December, for every one of you in a certain part of your area, there is going to be some kind of a awareness and understanding coming into information. Mercury is information, into knowledge of some sort, into a missing piece of information that helps you deal with some big burden, that helps you relieve, that makes you maybe realize where a mistake it is. Saturn rules the mistakes, things we have to repeat and do over and over because we're not good at it, or because we have karma there or something, you know. And Mercury gives us this piece of missing puzzle, and because it's joining the Galactic Center, it's giving a Galactic Center this huge boost of information, huge boost, like a spark and download of restart, you know, something to restart, to clear up old karma or some old blockages that you receive information about through Mercury. Even maybe a friend helping you in regards to that, you know, reading something about it, or just getting into your mind and doing something about it, and something that will be a restart and clearing of some old karma and some blockage, whatever Sagittarius is in your horoscope. And we'll mention about that as well. And Mercury, though, when it's conjunct Saturn, is starved, you know, because planets affect each other differently. So Saturn will hurt Mercury. Saturn hurts any planets it's conjunct with. But when it aspects certain planets, it can help them. But Saturn conjunct Mercury, what does it mean? Well, it will be some news that's painful, that is maybe quite, or not necessarily painful, but it might be like awakening, harsh reality awakening, you know, because Saturn is about reality, the you know, truth that might not be very savory, that might be a bit painful, that might be a bit heavy to handle, but at least we're seeing a clear understanding of what we need to do to have this restart, this new beginning. So yes, there might be some event that is a bit more painful, that can worry us a little bit, but it helps us clear up old problems, and it helps us restart all over again in that area of our life through the help of God. Galactic Center, for me, this is the central intelligence, God, divine God, whatever, the Father, you know. The Sun is our local sun, you know, ruled by Jesus Christ, the Christ consciousness. The Galactic Center is the Father, you know, the motherboard, the womb. Anyway, so let's see though. And by the way, Mercury will stay in that Sagittarius till mid-January. So we'll be working on those issues and those restarts that start happening in November for the next month and a half, to clear them up and to start these new beginnings that the Galactic Center promises, this restart of karma. So let me quickly mention for every sign what it means. And I would advise you, know, watching this video is not just to jump, and my weekly is not just to jump to your sign and hear for 1 minute or two what I say for your sign, because all the rest of the information is so interesting and relevant, and probably won't hear it much anywhere. And it's kind of, you know, and if you want to make sense of the prediction, to hear the whole thing, basically. Someone said, why don't I wash my hair when I come live? I do, it's my hair. Sorry, guys. I take things very personally when someone says, I have very thin, fine hair, and someone was like, your hair is ugly, and I'm just looking at it, and yes, it is. But I do wash it, I comb it. It's just the nature of my hair. It's always was like that. Okay, so let's see. So Mercury going in Sagittarius, starting from next week, gradually over the next 2 months, I would say this would be a big topic, is that if you're Aries, for example, that would be in your 9th house. There can be some, as I said, over the next 2 months, especially towards the end of November, big part of December, and then Mercury turns direct towards the end of December, I think, and in January as well. So the 9th house is so strongly activated through the Galactic Center, through Saturn, the planet of karma, through Mercury, so they can find out some important information in regards to their future plans. The 9th house is your future. The 9th house is your plan and your vision, the big picture that you have for your life. The 9th house also rules something like pre-qualifying or studying something, higher education, because, you know, this is the preparation stage for, if you want to be a doctor, you have to go study. If you want to be a teacher, you have to prepare. You have to, you know, so knowing what your what your goal, like a goal is, a future goal is. The ninth house, well, inspiration is the house of inspiration, puts you into action to start doing or researching something or studying or preparing in some way with high education or pre-qualification. That will, help you have a restart, let's say. That will help you, as we said, it's the Galactic Center that's involved, the restart day in regards to your goals for the future, your plans for the future, and re-examination of your plans and goals, because Mercury will also go retrograde in December, and the ability to clear up old karma. Actually, there were some blockages in regards to higher education, in regards to traveling, in regards to foreign documents or foreign residence, ninth house, in regards to finding a guru or a teacher, or some difficult karma with the father, which is the ninth house, or difficult karma with the with other cultures or countries, or some difficult karma with your belief systems, or difficult karma with finding the right field of study, the right field of inspiration and goals in your life, which is the ninth house. There can be a restart, finding the missing information areas, finding a missing information which allows you to move forward, to if there was any blockage to those areas of your life, to restart again, and you might be asked to use a lot of your especially Mercury retrograde there, to put a lot of your skills and energy, skills and organization and planning some journey, planning some trip over the next 2.5 months, in planning some educational course, in planning some working on some projects that's educational, that's connected to travel, that's connected to publicity of some sort. Ninth house as well as that. Anyway, if you're Taurus, and again, this is not just for next week. You see, this is quite universal, it's not quite universal, but quite long prediction. So if you're Taurus ascendant, in particular Sun or Moon to a lesser degree, but still, this is happening in your 8th house, guys. So there can be a reset button in something connected, and having to redo something and change, which allows you to clear karma and to remove some blockage by January, in regards to resources, in regards to money that's connected to resources that come to you from others. Say, for example, there might have been some blockage of you receiving a dowry, or receiving a inheritance, or receiving a payment from your ex-husband, or receiving some payout from your ex-company, or winning some court case that you're expecting money from. So if there's some blockage there can be some kind of more intense period in the next couple of months that starts changing those things, and that is like a reset button, and that you have to put more energy and efforts to. After all, Mercury will be retrograde there. You have to be more careful. That allows you to reset, to restart, and with new karma there, with new, like a clean slate karma, and to arrange some papers or documents that are connected, and starting gradually, December, January, papers that are connected, say, for some mutual custody of something, or for some mutual ownership with another person. Or maybe if there was karma of you that is connected to not being able to receive from others, it might be like, it's someone who always, say, for example, gives more in intimacy, or gives more financially to others, and never is able to receive from others, or there is some blockage of them feeling worthy to receive from others, whether it's feelings or whether it's, material blessings that are given to you from others, or other resources that you haven't worked for. There can be some kind of unblocking there, preceded by mini crisis, preceded by some kind of a finding of a missing piece of information, Taurus, that allows you to release it, and that allows you to put the efforts first, and then to restart that karma. Not karma, but restart that area of your life. And there might be something to do with taxes that you have to work on, that you have to put extra efforts on, mutual resources, taxes, finances, that and loans of some sort as well, other people's resources. that you have to arrange documents for that, and it starts like some kind of a new beginning in your life. Okay, so if your Gemini, it's happening in your 7th house, you'd feel that Gemini, especially Gemini Ascendant, Gemini Moon, and Gemini Sun as well, to some degree, the next 2 months, especially towards the end of November, finding out a piece missing information, as I said, Mercury, finding out or discovering some information or learning something, Mercury, which is connected to some difficult, complicated situation with relationships, business partnership, marriage, you know, or just overall relationships in your life, or contracts that you have, some kind of a contract that you find out that there's been a blockage there, or say, for example, you're always having problems in relationship. There's some karma there. You're not aware of it, but some Mercury joins Saturn with the Galactic Center of the highest knowledge source in your 7th house. So some kind of a missing piece information comes, like, aha, this is what I've been doing wrong in relationships. This is what I've been repeating, this pattern. So now I'm going to start working, trying to untangle that pattern in my relationships, or something missing information in regards to some, maybe you're in a relationship, that business partnership that's not good, or that's burdensome or heavy or karmic, you know, and some, again, you find out something and you renegotiate the terms of agreement in that relationship or that contract or that agreement, and it's like a restart button to agreements and contracts and relationships in your life. And, you know, it might be about specific relationship, or it might be generally, like you get like a burst of intuition and understanding where a problem or a blockage or karma is coming from, and resolve it in some way. Okay, and then if you're Cancer, this is happening. Mercury will be in retrograde and for the next 2.5 months, starting gradually from next week in your, if you're Cancer, in your 6th house of work. And we'll join the Galactic Center there with Saturn, the planet of karma. So you can find out some missing information in regards to your health, for example. 6th house is health. In regards to someone you might have been, for example, I have a Cancer friend that's been not very well for the last 6-7 years. And it's a karma. It's a karma you're bearing. And Saturn is almost in the last degrees of Sagittarius, which is the 6th house for Cancers. So if there is some health karma that you're bearing, Saturn will be transiting Galactic Center, restart button, Mercury, and I believe it's happening more towards the end of November. Mercury joins Saturn there and helps this restart, to find the missing information, and because Mercury is also about us doing some personal actions, because Mercury is the planet of planning, organizing, seeing something, understanding something. It's the logical mind, and starting to do things in a different way, because Mercury will become retrograde. Retrograde is about changing how we do things, and certainly in regards to their health, if you're Cancer, you know, in regards to your work as well. There can be some breakthroughs or some kind of a intense pivotal developments, like a restart that are connected, and almost like eureka moments that are connected to your work, to your employment. 6th house is if you're employed, or if you have employees, these are your employees, or it's pets as well. So something important might be happening in regards to an animal you own, a pet, or co-workers. Like, why should they compare co-workers to pets? Like people that are below you on the social ladder, for example, people that you manage, that you're boss of. There might be some important restart there in the relationships or in the environment, the work environment there. And there might be some work project that you're required to work extra hard on behind the scenes that requires a lot of attention to detail, starting gradually from next week, possibly, or the week after that. You'll see that, Cancers, and that requires a lot of your energy and skills to put in, but which will allow you to, as I said, to have like a restart in your career, and removing of some blockages connected with your career, and removing with some burden or heavy responsibilities you've been carrying around in regards to your work responsibilities and duties. Okay, and if you're Leo, this Mercury will be for 2.5 months in your 5th house. Leo Sun, Leo Ascendant, Leo Moon, you know. For me, the Ascendant is most important. Then I look at the moon and the sun as well. But yeah, if you're Leo, then this Mercury retrograde, no, Mercury going into Sagittarius from next week, then becoming retrograde and joining the Galactic Center and Saturn there. What this can give for you guys is your love life. First of all, the fifth house is, seventh house is relationship, love. Fifth house is the romantic side of relationship. The seventh house is the committed side of relationship. The fifth house is, yes, you might be in a committed relationship, but you might not feel emotionally satisfied, romantically satisfied. You might not feel fully in love, and that's the fifth house. We look for those matters. So there might be the need, if there was some karmic blockage in your love life, or the ability to feel love towards, you know, in your personal life, or ability also to enjoy yourself. Fifth house is having fun, enjoying yourself, letting your hair down, being like a child, expressing your creativity. So if there was some karmic blockage, some karmic difficulty, Saturn passing through the Galactic Center and Mercury when it joins it, especially towards the end of November, you might find out, Leo, something that allows you to end karmas or difficulties or blockages connected to your love life, to your romantic life. You can realize something. Mercury is realizing, consciously understanding something in regards to why there's blockage in your love life, why there is blockage in your ability to enjoy yourself, to express yourself with confidence, is the fifth house. Usually most Leos, that's supposed to be very natural at that, but if there is some issues or some unhealthy ways of expressing yourself, your confidence, your creativity as well, there will be a restart, but then there will be a strong realization, the need to redo something there. By the time Mercury starts moving direct and passes over the Galactic Center again, I believe, which is around January, I believe that you would have the results of this new beginning, this resolved karma in regards to love life, in regards to maybe some heavy love relationship, and as well also if you have some karma in regards to children, getting pregnant, or difficult relationship with a child of yours, or something that's happening very difficult in the life of a child of yours. Saturn transiting the Galactic Center there can be like a reset, amnesty button of that karma. And I would say to everyone, you know, around that period, November, December, do pray, because there is a rare opportunity for you to receive such a powerful download of knowledge and information to solve such important, difficult karmic issues connected to your love life, to children, to lovers, to creativity. Or if there is some creative project, maybe you might have to work very hard on some creative project, Mercury retrograde in your fifth house, that comes to a completion by January, and that gives the results of that by January, you know. So it doesn't have to be something bad, you know. It just might be like, and you might have some big download of inspiration that breaks through barriers that have been blocking your creativity, or the ability to be in center stage positions, and the ability to shine in some way. Okay, if you're Virgo, this is happening in your fourth house. Virgo Sun, Moon, or Ascendant most likely is in your fourth house, which means that Mercury going in Sagittarius and staying there for 2.5 months will mean that, and being with the Galactic Center, with Saturn, of course, on the Galactic Center, is that over the next 2.5 months, you might be redoing something in your house. You might be redoing something in your property. You might be there might be a reset button in regards to the relationships in your life with your family. There might be new endings and new beginnings in regards to places that you live in, properties that you own, family matters. If there was some karmic difficulty with family matters, Saturn can give amnesty with the Galactic Center, a powerful evolution, so to speak. The Galactic Center for me is the source of all evolution and progress, forward movement. And when it aligns with Saturn, karmas, blockages, you can receive some upgrades, evolutionary, and in regards to whatever problems and difficulties you are having in your personal life, in regards to how you feel emotionally. Emotional, mental well-being is the fourth house as well. You know, depressions and things like that are connected to the fourth house. If it's blocked, or feelings of sadness, of loneliness, you know, as well, are very strongly connected to the fourth house. So it might be like amnesty of this karma, being released from the burden of that karma and allowing it to move forward, Virgos. Or it might be, as I said, it might be just something like completing difficult karma with family, finding a missing information about something that you need, for example, to sell a home, and working hard on say, well, Mercury is retrograde, especially in December, to make it look better, to make it, to arrange it, to make it more organized, more, you know, because Mercury is about redoing something when it's retrograde, restructuring. So there'll be focus on your family life, personal life, property, and the ability to start something new, to reset and to remove some blockage. But of course, through changing of your attitudes, because Mercury rules our attitudes, rewiring of those attitudes. But we have a good big boost from the Galactic Center, helping with new evolutionary, higher perspective about, say, a family problem or a place that you have to live in, and giving you the knowledge and understanding and what is the right thing to do, where to go from there. Then for Libras, it's going to be in their third house, and it means that you might be working very hard, starting gradually from November, December, and January, on some commercial project, some media or marketing or advertising project that requires things to be redone and done over a few times. Some important negotiations on communications that might be happening, you know, with Mercury going there and staying there for such a long time. And by the end of that period, possibly by January, you as Libras will be able to, for example, to have, if your business is connected to work, connected to anything to do with media, marketing, advertising, writing, speaking, any projects that to do with writing or speaking, you'd have a complete project. You'd have a project that is, you know, that maybe required extra efforts and required you to put a lot more of your skills and a lot more of your energy in them, but you'll have a complete project by January, you know. By the middle or end of January in some sort. And it might be also requiring you to reevaluate relationships with siblings, with relatives of some sort. And there might be the karmic culmination of relationships with siblings, with relatives that need resolution of some sort, and that the Galactic Center will help give this evolution, this almost like a quantum leap in finding a resolution in difficult situation connected to relationships with brothers and sisters, relatives, neighbors, or co-workers. 11th house, third house is teammates, playmates, co-workers, people in your everyday environment, you know, or if there is some blockage in your social abilities, in your social skills as well, or, you know, because third house is a house of communication, ability to be heard, to express yourself. If there was some blockage, if you didn't feel, if it's difficult for you to feel heard. And by the way, this is a restart and reset for the next 29 years. Saturn will only come back again to the Galactic Center, and you know, and this is even double activation because Mercury becomes retrograde there in about 29 years. So there can be like new beginnings and reset and clearing off of karma for you with relatives, siblings, co-workers, in regards to your social life, in regards to contacts, in regards to working with group, small group projects, you know, and it might be something that gives powerful new foundation or beginning or evolutionary quantum leap to you through some kind of a commercial project. Third house rules commercial projects, or new skill of some sort. There might be the need to re-examine your skills and abilities. Third house rules those things, and to rebrand them, rebrush them in some way, and this will give a restart to your ability to make self-made wealth, because the third house rules, it's a financial house, so it rules wealth that comes from your skills. The third house is the second from the second, so it has the connotation of money as well, and it rules own business and skills that you use to make money with your own business. So people with strong third houses often can have their own businesses because they have a lot of skill sets that they can turn into their business. But anyway, So they can be like a new powerful restart in your life and clearing off of karma or blockages connected to some commercial project, to some kind of a business project, to some kind of a ability to create self-made wealth as well, the third house, and to kind of maybe even dust off old skills or rediscover powerful deep skills within you. And the Galactic Center gives you this powerful quantum leap boost in such skills that allows you to you know, to move forward, to have this restart. And there might be also some kind of a short travel that is important that happens, that creates this conditions for reboot and restart of karma in your life. Okay, and if you're Scorpio, it's going to be happening in your second house. Second house is directly related to finances. So if there is some karmic blockage that is happening in regards to your family, in regards to your in regards to your finances, in regards to abundance and wealth and resources overall in your life. If there is some karmic blockage and it is connected to self-worth initially, if you are not valued in past lifetimes or this lifetime from your family, the self-worth is usually quite poor and low, and because of that, often they can be blockages with us. How worthy we feel to receive, and to how worthy, what price tag do we put to ourselves. So our self-worth reflects directly on the resources and money and financial state we have in our life. So if there has been such a blockage, now Mercury and Saturn towards the end of November joining the Galactic Center, making a quantum upgrade and leap there, giving you some missing information or some missing skill that you need, and restarting your old karma and rebooting amnesty, clearing up old karma in regards to matters connected to self-worth, finances, money, which allows you to clear up some old, beliefs or old truths that are no longer true for you, because it's happening in Sagittarius, the sign of truth. Some kind of revelation or some kind of a peak experience can happen, that you reorganize your resources, you reorganize and restructure and re-examine your self-worth, and you understand on a deep level where those blockages financially are coming for you from, if they're, or for resources or for self-worth as well generally, and allows you to press the reset button, for new beginnings there, and to remove the old difficult karma. So yes, you'll be working on financial matters, on financial security, on creating more. So till the end of the year, this is a very intense focus for you guys. Or reorganizing your resources or finances in some way, but it has a much deeper root this time, because not just Mercury retrograde in your second house in December, it's gonna be with the Galactic Center, with Saturn, the planet of karma. Okay, and then if you're Sagittarius, it's happening in your sign, guys, of course. And definitely that's going to be, you can feel it, especially later born Sagittarius, those born a little bit, in the last, before Christmas and that time, they can have like a big, basically, say if you're born with Sun, Moon, or Ascendant around the last 5 degrees of Sagittarius, which would mean you're born from around the 18th to around the 23rd of December, isn't it? Well, or even a little bit earlier, from the 17th. This can be actually a proper new beginning in your life. But even for all the rest of Sagittarius, it's happening in your sign, guys. It means that Mercury will be for 2.5 months in your sign, and there will be powerful reevaluation of your path in life overall, the direction you're taking overall, the purpose of your life. There will be the need for you to use over the next 2.5 months a lot of your skills, Mercury skills and abilities that we've learned and picked up over the course of our life. And you might be working on some commercial business or administrative project very hard, for example, but this is not just going to be some commercial work project that is there. It has the potential whatever you're planning and working and organizing on for the next 2.5 months, and reorganizing in your life and re-examining, and the extra efforts of skills that are required, has the potential to put a big restart in your life, has the potential to remove a lot of blockages from your life. And remember, Saturn in your sign Sagittarius is joining the Galactic Center, so something connected to difficult karma, connected that's blocking you personally. The first house is you, that's blocking you, that's been a big blockage for your personal fruition and manifestation in life overall, or even some physical or health issue, because first house can be the physical body as well. You will receive a piece of missing information, and you will receive a understanding and to actually to outgrow this, like a quantum boost leap, to outgrow this blockage and to move and to break through it, and to press the reset button in your karma overall in life, you know. So maybe some powerful new beginnings by January that you witness starting to develop from December, from next week. Okay, and then we have Capricorn, and actually Saturn is your planet, guys. Saturn will be in the Galactic Center degrees the whole December, the whole Saturn will be the planet that rules your Capricorns, close to the Galactic Center. You know, I would say November, you'd feel it the whole November, and till the middle of December as well. So as well, for you, it can be a powerful new beginning on a personal level. Saturn rules your whole life, your whole karma, your whole direction in life. So you can have powerful download, because Saturn aligns with the Galactic Center, from the universe, and this powerful download can lead you to removing difficult karma from your life, some blockages that were personally stopping you, and allows you to start afresh and anew. And then Saturn, from the middle of December, will enter your sign Capricorn, where it's definitely like a ground zero for Saturn, because it's its own sign. So it comes to, you know, to totally restructure your life. But there'll be some powerful realizations that is happening immediately preceding Saturn entering Capricorn. So basically November and part of December, which allows you to clear up the old karma and prepare for the new. But they'll be connected with endings, because it's happening in your 12th house. That Mercury will enter, will become retrograde there. The whole January, the whole December will be retrograde, but starting from November, you'll start feeling it. It's almost like chapter in your life. For many Capricorns, they'll be feeling that the next 2.5 months is like sweeping off the dirt from the past, cutting off connections with the past, finding out missing information that helps you have closure, and close a door gaping that's opening a door for the past connected with the 27 years, or even past lifetimes. And the 12th house, as I said, is about self-sabotaging behaviors. So it's secret enemies. Secret enemies, our subconscious is our secret enemies, our hidden fears that we're not aware of. Our past lifetimes are self-sabotaging us as well. Say, in past lifetimes, you're always abandoned in relationships, so you always expect that I'm seeing here. So good news for you, Capricorn. And always, for example, expect that this will always be happening to you. This is the 12th house, everything that's self-sabotaging us. And we're, you know, we don't know where it's coming from. We have some fears or phobias, or we have some success. We go and ruin it all because of something that happened in past lifetimes, of hidden fears that we've forgotten about. It's forgotten. It's 12th house, something you're blind to, you're not aware of. That's why it's hidden enemy. So it might be a literal hidden enemy, someone that hates you and that's doing stuff behind you and ruining your reputation, gossiping about you. So if there is such karma in your life, if there has been, this can be the time when it's getting resolved, when the Galactic Center, when Mercury and Saturn from your 12th house aligns with the Galactic Center. There's like a stuff, you know, high voltage energy from there that burns those karmic, you know, connections to the past, this hidden enemies, whether they're actions that your personal actions that and fear stemming from past lifetimes that are self-sabotaging, like addictions and things like that, is also 12th house. Paranoias and fears that we subconsciously project and ruin things because of that. Or, as I said, actual hidden enemies, people that you're enemies that try to undermine you in some way without you being really fully aware, like someone who pretends to be your friend or to be your colleague or to be your someone who works for you, whatever, and they're doing behind your back something. They can be like a burst of understanding and realization, and the need to, you know, to realize, and you realize some truth, some hidden information that is connected with your own self-sabotaging behaviors and past, and for you know, hidden subconscious or to such hidden enemies, and that allows you to remove such things from your life and remove such difficult karma and start anew. Clear up, you know, clear up those, let's say, karmic wreckage in the 12th house. It might be also on a more positive level, there might be the completion of some project, because 12th house is about endings, that requires a lot of your efforts and skills and energy. Oh my God. Energy behind the scenes on preparing, researching something, working behind the scenes, preparations, you know, 12 houses, preparations, preparing for a new cycle, almost like a hectic wrapping up things, you know, and concluding them and leaving so you can enter a new phase of your life after that, when Saturn enters Capricorn, of course. Your Aquarius is going to be happening, you know, Mercury will be retrograde and enters from next week. Sagittarius will stay there for 2.5 months, will join the Galactic Centre together with Saturn, allowing you to get a piece of important information that completes the puzzle and makes you find out some high truth in regards to matters connected to your commercial and financial goals, 11th house. Maybe completing some commercial financial goal that requires you to work not behind the scenes, but to redo something over and over. Mercury will go retrograde in December, but it's almost like the preparations for that phase start from next week for this project, something that it's kind of gainfully, commercially, financially gainful. 11th house is gainfulness, and it's kind of connected to placing a product on a market, or creating some network, or creating some project that you're ready to put out into the public. And so you might have to work behind, you know, you might have to work to redo, to re-edit, to, especially in December, to kind of put those things together. You might be reevaluating some friendship. There might be a big focus on friendships in your life in December as well, and November, December, and part of January in your social circle, and reevaluating your whole social environment and who you want around you. But on a more global level, talking about karma, because Saturn and Mercury will be with the Galactic Centre there in your 11th house, so they can be, if there were some blockages life, so maybe you don't have much of it, or maybe there is some complication or difficulty, you're not accepted as you want, or you've been trying to gain access to certain marketplaces, the 11th house marketplaces, and marketplaces and gainfulness, and if you have not been able to gain access to such opportunities of gains or marketplaces or social circles, there might be like a restart of that, finding a missing information or piece of information that allows you to join those, or to resolve difficult karma connected to gains, connected to gainful goals in your life of some sort, or if there are some blockage with friendships. So if there's some difficulties in life connected to important people that are friends of yours, they might be the beginning of the resolution of such issues and clearing of such difficult karma that's blocking your social life, or God knows I need that, being an Aquarius ascendant, you know, a bit more of a social life, a bit more reset the button of lack, which is Saturn. And Saturn, the Galactic Center, you're getting a download to resolve a certain blockage or lack of whatever Saturn is in regards to social matters, of being socially active, matters of being connecting with the right people, the right network, the right gainful economic pursuits as well. Okay, so yes, and they can be important developments in regards to your gains, friendships, you know, and almost like new beginnings there in your life that you'll see by January, very likely, and clearing up of difficult karma there, as I said, and like or maybe some very fated such collaboration or social contact can come into your life that helps you with your gainful projects, you know, and with your goals in life overall, achieving some dream of yours, which is also the 11th house. So stay open also, or maybe friends from the past or collaborators from the past can come back in your life, contacts that you've known from the past as well, especially in December, that allows you to put an ending to certain karmic situation or certain blockage or certain delay that's been happening. Okay, so then if you're Pisces, it's happening in your 10th house of career. Mercury will be there. There will be a reevaluation of your career, reevaluation of relationships with authority figures, father figures as well. They can be finally the ability to resolve some karmic issue connected with authority figures, some complicated situation, and like press the reset button in regards to your vocation, in regards to your career, in regards to your worldly responsibilities and duties. There might be also the need to complete some work, career project, to work hard on it, using your skills, you know, because Mercury is all our skills. We have 10th house is anything in regards to our career and social reputation, which by January you'll be able to improve your social reputation or kind of almost restart your social because the 10th house is not only social reputation but social status, almost like a restart button for your social status that can affect you actually even for 27 years ahead, till the next time Saturn, the planet of karma, passes through the Galactic Centre and clears off old karma. So clearing off old karma and blockages in regards to your reputation, social achievements, social status, and starting anew somehow, but using your skills and finding because Mercury will also be there and working through your skills somehow to get there. So wow, that was a mouthful. You know, you can come back to this video for the next 2.5 months, guys. It's not just a weekly video. And I repeat, a lot of my videos, they don't focus just on the week because, yeah, what is 1 week compared? We want to see the whole cycle. We want to understand the whole picture. And by the way, one last thing, next week, Jupiter is becoming visible. It's expected to become visible around the 12th, which is around Saturday, Sunday, or Saturday, Sunday, yes. So we'll talk about that next week, though, because I believe Jupiter will not become visible before the end of the week. And when Jupiter becomes visible, whatever Jupiter rules in your horoscope finally can start manifesting in your life. While it's invisible, it can be lost, it can end, or it can slow down, or it can just not manifest on the material level. Say if you're Virgo, Jupiter will rule your 4th house, 7th house of relationships, so maybe relationship might have, or some contract might have gone more difficult or not manifested, and Jupiter becomes visible again sometime next week. So there can be some good positive development in regards to your relationships, but we'll speak about that next week. I hope you enjoyed that, guys. I always try to give you a very different perspective, and even if I miss certain small aspects and transit during the week, I hope you don't mind that. But for me, I'm all about the big picture. I love the big picture. And I'll remind you what Trifon said, you know, his monthly horoscope for November is, he says that Mars from the 7th till the 12th, or till the 16th, 15th of February, of November, will be conjunct the difficult star Purima, which is in the belly of the Virgin, the constellation of the Virgin. So he said, he warns women that are pregnant to be careful, and he also says don't start anything important, because Mars will also be joined with a constellation called the Crow from around the 7th of November to around the 15th of November, and that's a negative constellation, and Mars is the planet of discord and sudden disruptions the Raven, basically, constellation. So he advises us and he reminds us, if possible, don't start important things in that period. So from the 7th or 8th, from the 8th till the 15th, I'm just giving you this, reminding you from the prediction that Trifonikolu gave for us. So thank you so much. And if you want specifically what's next week is happening in particular, do pay attention to last week's prediction, because the full moon is the one that's impacting us the most. Oh yeah, and by the way, don't forget, we have amazing webinars, Saturn in Capricorn with Robert Phoenix. That will be the webinar of the year for me, because that's like the most important astrological event, the planet of karma changing signs. We're going to do that in December, on December the 9th. So do get your seat, because after that the price goes up. And there is also another webinar in December, which is about ancient astrology, to know what the constellations means, and the 12 signs, but they're the 12 constellations. It's going to be a 14-hour webinar with Rumen Kolev. Do check it on my website. I'll put links if you want to read and learn astrology like the ancients did, like a pro. So thank you guys. I love you. And I'll see you next week.